Davis, neither one of those any damage. Yeah, he faded and Romero flinched in there.
Romero, and he lunges, and that allows Davis. The left hand is going to come from Romero.
Boxing scandals are nothing new. However, Gervonta Davis might just have taken it up a notch. The man leaked private messages with one of the biggest fight promoters around. It's mind-boggling that he did that. However, the real question is why he did it. Gervonta Davis isn't a crybaby, though every once in a while he does end up getting his feelings hurt. The latest scandal is a great example of what happens when Davis loses it. When Eddie Hearn passed a few not-so-awesome comments about Tank, Davis didn't take it the right way and ended up leaking a few screenshots of a conversation with Hearn.
Tank again, and the barrage of punches. A straight left.
Now, whatever way you look at it, the way he sold the fight promoter out was pretty uncalled for. His actions made him look like an immature, spoiled brat. While that might not be the case daily, this latest scandal painted a picture of him that he might not like. It definitely won't be winning him any popularity contests anytime soon. Whichever way you look at it, it all boils down to one thing. Eddie Hearn threw a bit of criticism his way, and he took it to heart and lashed out. Now, most of you are probably wondering whatever happened. So what did Hearn even do? Okay, so imagine this. Eddie Hearn was in the middle of an interview when he was asked about his opinion on Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Now, Hearn is a respected member of the boxing community. The man has been around for a long time. So Hearn tried his best to describe Davis in a way that made him seem awesome, while still pointing out a few things that he can improve on. One of the things that Eddie talked about was the mindset that Davis carried in the ring. Now, Hearn talked about how Davis wasn't the deepest thing when he was in a fight. He went on to elaborate on his point by talking about how Davis didn't spend too much time thinking about what he would do next. Instead, he just went ahead and did it. That, in Hearn's opinion, made him a very dangerous fighter to go up against. I'm not gonna lie, Davis's unpredictability makes him an even more fearsome fighter than most others in the division. Now, it's clear that Hearn didn't mean for his comments to be disrespectful. However, Davis didn't take the criticism too kindly. That brings us to the next question.
Probably a good stoppage in the end.
Here we see it again, the right hook of Davis. You know, we were at the fighter meeting. Morrow mentioned to Davis, is that right hand you're...
How did Davis react to the whole thing? When the interview made rounds in social media, stuff started to hit the fan pretty quickly. Davis wasn't too happy that there was someone out there who didn't consider him a boxing god. Leonard Ellerby, who has worked with Davis in the past, was quick to tweet out in support of Davis. He talked about how Hearn had no idea what he was talking about. He was quick to shoot down any credibility that Hearn might have carried in his eyes. However, when it came to Davis, he was even more pissed off. He went ahead and texted Eddie Hearn and asked him why he said those things. Hearn was quick to reply and told him that he hadn't said anything disrespectful. Rather, he talked about how his unpredictability made him an even more dangerous fighter. From what I can tell, it took a while, but sure enough, Davis got the memo that Hearn wasn't talking trash. Instead, he was just throwing a few praises his way. So he was quick to delete the screenshot of their DMs. However, some people still weren't satisfied, such as Tim Bradley, who hopes that Garcia knocks Davis out in their fight. Tim Bradley, as it turns out, isn't the biggest fan of Tank Davis. That couldn't be farther from the truth. He believes that Davis is nothing short of and shouldn't be put on such a high pedestal. Now, you might be confused about why he thinks that way. See, it's not the fact that Davis has something against Tim Bradley, it's the fact that he's had a few legal problems in the past, and those problems include domestic abuse. Now, don't take this the wrong way. I could never condone anything close to domestic violence. Bradley believes that anyone who puts their hands on a woman is immediately a Tier 1. That's a major reason why he's hoping that Ryan Garcia can find it in him to put Davis in his place, though he did come out and acknowledge the fact that Garcia would have his work cut out for him. There's no denying the fact that Davis has insane punching power, and Garcia would be in constant threat of being knocked out. Still, we don't even know whether the fight will even end up happening.
A straight hook followed by a right hook that found its mark and down. Take a look at it. with the left hook. And here from overhead, Davis.
So what's the scene with the matchup between Garcia and Davis? Well, a lot of people have just one question on their minds. Will this fight even end up happening? Now, as far as we know, negotiations happened. Some sort of agreement was reached, and the fight was agreed to be held at an unnamed venue in Las Vegas. It's important to mention the fact that both these fighters have sold out their venues in the city before. Now, up until a small while ago, both fighters were set to face off against one another. However, the public was hit with a shockwave when a member of Davis's team announced that a contract hadn't yet been signed. What? Now, considering that the fight had been up until this point confirmed, everyone was confused as to what was going on. From what I can tell, there was a verbal agreement in place. However, they hadn't yet put anything down on paper. I'm not gonna lie, this is beginning to sound pretty sketchy to me. The newest update is that even though fans were told the fight was going to happen sometime soon, the fight hasn't even been officially agreed upon yet. Putting all that aside, fans are wondering which fighter is better. So who would win in a matchup between the two?
You know, they see me out there working for my dreams, and I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not the cockiest, but I'm not also the most humble. I'm just me, and I'm just confident in myself, but I'm not overboard. You know, I don't have to try hard. Like,
a lot of people seem to think that Davis has a higher chance of coming out victorious.
Let's take a look at the end of the fight. Big straight left from Davis.
There's a good reason for that, too. See, Davis has a habit of facing tough opponents, and he manages to knock most of them out. He owes this to his unpredictable nature and insanely high punching power.
Oh, good uppercut. Lopez rattled a little bit. He may be ready to go. Garcia letting his hands.
Garcia, on the other hand, hasn't gotten into the ring with someone better than him in ages. This has left many fans wondering whether he's scared to lose his reputation, because up until now, Garcia hasn't fought anyone challenging, and has only taken fights that were almost a guaranteed win. Tank Davis, on the other hand, has spent most of his career cleaning up the division. Still, though, I can't just sit here and discredit all the work that Garcia has put in. The kid is something special. He's got a lot of heart and the skills to back it up. There's no telling how the fight will end up going. Both fighters have an equal chance to win in my book. You have to remember the fact that both of them are still undefeated. So as of yet, they haven't shown any real weakness in the ring, other than that the other fighter could potentially exploit. Both have managed to win the majority of their fights via KO. What I can tell you for a fact is that this fight will be one for the ages. After Davis recently managed to beat Hector Luis Garcia, a lot of people began to think that a mega fight between him and Ryan Garcia was on the table. Anyway, I can't just sit here and predict what'll end up happening. We'll just have to wait and see how the fight goes. And that's the latest about the potential matchup between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. We'll see you in the next video.